Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Steve. I'm with the Harton Law Firm and we do wills, trusts, and probate. In today's video, I will try to answer the question, what's the point of having a will anyway if I ain't rich? Alright, so most of us think that we're not that rich, but we all have some stuff. We might have a car, we might have a bank account, we might have, I don't know, like some guns, we might have furniture, we might have who knows what. We all have some stuff. All right. So the first reason you might want to have a will, even if you are not rich, is if you want to decide who gets your stuff. Because if you don't have a will, then the state will decide who gets it. So that's called the law of intestacy. So if you don't have a will, then what will happen is you will either your children will get it. If you don't have a spouse, if you have a spouse, your spouse will get half of it. Your children will get the other half. Your children will split it equally amongst them, that half. If you only have a spouse, then your spouse will get everything. And if you only have children, then your children will split everything. And of course, if you don't have children, you don't have a spouse, then your parents will get it, your mom and dad, and your brothers and sisters all will share your stuff equally. All right, so if you're not okay with that, then you might want to have yourself a will. For instance, if you have, let's say, just 3 kids but no wife, then your kids would share it all to share everything equally. But maybe one of the kids is okay, one of the kids is even better, but the third one's got some, maybe substance abuse issues or gambling issues or anything, and giving them a third of your stuff might actually just hurt them. So maybe if you don't want them to share your stuff equally, then you might want to have a will. All right, so that was point number 1. Point number 2 is if you want to decide who gets to wrap up your affairs. All right, so if you don't have a will, then the state will decide who wraps up. Actually, the judge will do it. So what they will do is, if you're married, then it'll be your wife or your husband. Even if your spouse can't handle money, or even if your spouse has got some other issues or things like that, or they're old and frail, but they'll have to do it. All right? But if you have children, then maybe they're more appropriate to handle it. Maybe they're younger, but it'll still be your spouse that gets to do it or has to do it according to the court. All right, so if you want to decide who gets to do it, you should have a will, because you can appoint your executor in your will. So if you don't do that, the first one, of course, will be your spouse. The other one will be your children. And then if you have more than one child, then the court's going to have to decide which of your kids does it. So they're going to look at who's, looks more presentable on paper, and that may or may not be the person that you want handling your stuff. So the third point for having a will, even if you're not rich, is if the natural person that would handle your stuff, wrap up your affairs, does not live in the state of Wyoming. For instance, let's say you have no spouse, but you have a child that lives out of state. Now, they don't have to live very far away, but let's say you live in Green River, your kid could be living in Manila, but that's in Utah. So that kid would not be able to administer your state without appointing someone else that's local. So that means the court would bring in some lawyer or somebody else to take care of your state, and maybe they wouldn't do it the way you'd want, and maybe in addition, there would be lots of additional costs associated to bring that other person in to do these things. All right, so that was point number 3. So the fourth and fifth points have to do with minor children. The fourth, so if you have minor children, one of the important things you can do in a will is nominate their guardian in case something happens to you. So if you don't have anybody nominated and you don't have a will, then the court is going to decide who will take care of your minor children. So that would naturally be their other natural parent if they're around, but this is a big issue if the other parent is deceased, or if they're like in prison, or if they're just gone. And so what you can do in a will is nominate the guardian that would take care of your kids, and you would eliminate any kind of fighting between your, I don't know, your parents or your siblings or somebody who would want to take care of the kids. And then the court would decide who would do it. And you might not want who the court chooses to be your kid's guardian. You might have a sibling who's got a real good job and has a nice house and all that other stuff, but they're like super strict, and they don't share your values. And your other sibling might be, happy-go-lucky, but is friendly and likes the outdoors, and that's the way you want to bring your kids up. So that's the fourth point, is you get to pick, you get to nominate who's going to take care of your minor kids in case you pass. All right. And then the fifth reason also has to do with minor kids, and that has to do with if you have minor children, you have no will, your minor children are going to get at least half of your stuff. Okay. And if you are not married to their minor children's parents, the other parent, then your children will, of course, get all of your stuff. So, and if they're minors, then basically what you're doing is you're giving all your stuff to their parent. So that might not be what you want. You might not want all your stuff to go to your ex. All right. So those are 5 points as to why you might want to have a will even if you're not rich. And those are to take care, to decide who gets your stuff, to decide who gets to wrap up your affairs. You just get to decide who's going to take care of your minor children in case you pass, and then you make sure that your ex doesn't get your stuff. And of course, then there's the bonus point, and that is by having a will, you will have taken a great step towards organizing your life, putting your affairs in order, and you're going to make life a lot easier for the people you leave behind, the people that you care about, because that's who you're doing this for, really not for yourself. All right. So folks, if you got something out of this video, please hit like and subscribe and share it with your friends. And if you'd like to talk to me about wills or trusts or estate planning in general, please go to hartonlaw.com and hit schedule me. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a good day.